This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon/Two-Headed Nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Ziggurat at Omaha in caverns deep below the metro area, where it's no secret we've been villains in disguise all along. It's our pleasure to welcome you to another Back Issue Show, episode 777, which feels like it should be evil, but isn't really all that evil.
No, that's the number of man.
Oh, yeah, okay.
666 is the number of the beast.
I'm not exactly a biblical scholar.
Yeah.
Of the Two-Headed Nerd Comic Book Podcast, I'm your head number one, the internet's Joe Patrick.
You need to listen to more Iron Maiden, and you know this. I am your head number two. My name is Matt Baum, and once again, our Cosmic Short Box is about to transport us back to the 1990s for some post-Onslaught comics featuring characters that didn't quite replace the missing Avengers.
They were pretty popular, though. The Thunderbolts made their big screen debut last weekend, so we're going back to revisit the origins of the team that started it all, Kurt Busiek's original Bad Guys in Disguise from the pages of Thunderbolts Volume 1. Hope you like over-designed costumes and redemption stories with a twist, because it's secret villain back issue time in the Ziggurat.
As you might know, we share the Ziggurat with a cosmically powered sentient short box that sends us on back issue adventures, and this time...
Well, it varies in size like Galactus. Like in the handbook, it would say size varies.
We have a long box and a short box. We have two.
Oh, I thought it was the same box that just kind of like...
There's two. It's got a totally different voice and everything. You think it was just messing with us? What?
Well, yeah, man. I thought
one of them's got a real high voice, and the other one's got a real low voice. You know?
This is new lore, folks. This is brand new lore you're hearing right now.
This time, it's taking us to the very first appearance of the Thunderbolts from Incredible Hulk number 449. From there, we're going to briefly touch on the Tales of the Marvel Universe one-shot, which was super fun because I forgot everything that was going on at this time.
Oh, every single thing.
Oh my God. And then we'll dive into Thunderbolts 1 through 5 because we're also secretly villains. We'll be applying our thinly disguised rating system of buy it, skim it, or leave it to each book. And by the end, we're going to decide if the OG Thunderbolts are still the best. Plus, we're going to check in with our very scientific poll that we had over at our Discord about the Thunderbolts, where we asked our listeners, who are your Thunderbolts? We asked that because if you don't know the Thunderbolts, you're like, what are you talking about? The Thunderbolts are Bucky and... you know, the Black Widow and those other people that I barely remember from Marvel movies. And like, yeah, I'm sure. Yes, they are. There've been a lot of people. That's why we bring it up. When you look into Thunderbolts, there's been about 200 different lineups. But first,
it's true.
Let's have a brief history of the Thunderbolts' secret origin.
Thunder! Thunder! Thunder!
Thunderbolts!
Okay, hey, kudos to Matt Baum for writing this bit of background.
I love this. The comic book history, I love digging in there because most of it, like, you don't know if half of this is true, but this is what people say.
Sure, yeah. It's an oral history of the Thunderbolts. In 1996, Marvel had just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And in the comics universe, Onslaught had taken the Avengers and the Fantastic Four off the board, so Marvel could give Image creators Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld a chance at a complete reinvention for those poorly selling titles. During this time, Marvel editors were searching for new heroes for a new age and, you know, hopefully new profits.
Yeah.
That would help reinvent the regular Marvel universe. Enter Kurt Busiek's Thunderbolts. His pitch, a group of brand new heroes led by a reinvented D-list Golden Ager leap into action to fill the void left by the Avengers. The only problem? They're actually the masters of evil in disguise.
Whoa.
The long-term plan was for them to replace the Avengers before revealing their true identities, but Heroes Reborn was cut short. For a good reason.
Very good
So
reason.
the Thunderbolts remained in their own title, featuring villains tempted by good, slowly redeeming themselves over Busiek and Bagley's 33-issue run. Macho, take us back to 1997.
Here are your Thunderbolts comics. But
Actually,
be aware,
hold that line
the
for 1
recent
second.
movie has inflated their values. So please, handle with care, as the ziggurat finances are not what they once were.
We begin in the pages of Incredible Hulk, Volume 1, number 449. You're saying, Matt, Peter David wrote The Incredible Hulk. I thought we were going to talk about Kurt Busiek. We are. You got to introduce these guys somewhere. This is classic wrestling. You don't bring a brand new wrestler in all by themselves and everybody go, well, who the hell is this? They have to come running into somebody else's match and cause a problem. And everybody goes, who is that? Right?
Who's this random dude in a normal costume named Steve Johnson? He's nobody.
Right. Pencils by Mike Diodato Jr., inks by Tom Wergzen. Is that right? Wegerzen?
I've never heard that name before in my entire life.
I don't know. There you go.
Tom Regerson.
Colors by Glynis Oliver. We got a bunch of people who just know with a serious lack of vowels in there.
Glynis Oliver, a.k.a. Glynis Ween, who
Yep.
we have talked about before in the past.
And letters by your friends over at Comic Craft.
The former Mrs. Len Ween.
Now, I've got to ask, and I don't want to get real deep into it, who is this character running around with the Hulk?
Yeah, Janice.
Janice.
This is not long after the Prestige format 2-issue series, The Incredible Hulk Future Imperfect by Peter David and George Perez.
Okay.
Janice is Rick Jones's granddaughter from the future, traveled back to the present day for reasons that I don't remember.
That's
and
all we
are
need to know.
irrelevant.
Yeah, that's all we need to know. We're barely going to talk about this issue. What we're going to really talk about is the Thunderbolts show up. So Hulk and Janice, they're traveling across the desert in, Western United States. They are struck by a missile because the Hulk is just kind of like jumping through the air as the Hulk does.
Yeah.
And Mach 1 intervenes. Janice is caught mid-fall by Mach 1, who wrongly assumes she's a prisoner of the Hulk. Everybody thinks the Hulk is a very bad guy at this time, right? She surprises him by blasting him with her energy staff. Janice has a lot going on, by the way.
She's got a mohawk,
Thigh-high boots, a robe.
some sort of poncho. Yeah, the poncho robe thing. Yeah.
Tell me about this Mach 1 guy. He shows up. He's got wings. He's got missile launchers on his shirt. Where does he keep the missiles?
In his outfit.
Oh, okay.
Where does Iron Man keep all the little smoke pellets and shit he shoots off of his armor?
Those are little. These missiles are pretty good size.
It's true. So Mach 1 wears an armored suit similar to Iron Man. That makes him essentially like his sort of deal is that he's a human fighter jet. So supersonic speed, tons of weapons, missiles on board, visual, etc.
Fair enough. So something's going on with the Hulk at this time. He's not fully healthy because like a missile from this dude shouldn't hurt him that bad, but it knocks the Hulk out of the sky.
At this point in time, after the onslaught, the final battle with Onslaught was so cataclysmic that it forced Banner and the Hulk into two separate entities. The Hulk got hit so hard that it split him in half.
This is why we have an Incredible Hulk in the image
in the Heroes Reborn universe,
and a regular Incredible Hulk.
And at the end of that issue, you see Banner stumbling into the portal to Franklin's world.
Gotcha.
Leaving the Hulk behind. But the Hulk is not real. The Hulk is not substantive. He's not, you know what I mean?
He looks pretty substantive to me.
Well, I mean, yeah,
like
he's running around and he's solid and he's fighting and stuff, but
that's pretty real.
He cannot survive separated from Banner, which is why Hulk gets messed up quite a bit over the course of the next year.
Okay, because that makes a lot of sense here. Because knowing these Thunderbolts, and I'm not saying they're like a bunch of pushovers, but they can't take down the Hulk, and they take down the Hulk.
Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
The Hulk crashes into a rodeo because they're in the West, right? And there we meet the rest of the highly over-designed Thunderbolts team. Tell me about these kids, Joe Patrick.
Look, it was the 1990s.
My God, these designs are
I don't know
so
why
bad.
you need to be disparaging.
These designs are terrible.
They're not.
They
so
really
bad.
are. I'm
right,
thinking
all
about
right.
Steve Ditko complaining about drawing Spider-Man, and then I look at Meteorite's costume. I'm just like, what is going on there?
Meteorite's
Points
costume.
and swirls and
Meteorite's costume is pretty rough, and it would improve over time once her identity is revealed. But I kind of like Atlas and Songbird's designs, though.
I mean, Alice is fine. Songbird is a lot. She's got a lot going on.
Well, her costume has never once changed. It's always been
I
this.
agree. It's always looked like this, but
Yeah.
she does look like
No, I'm
she's
just
from,
saying, like, she's stuck with this look for 30,
She looks like she's
25 plus years.
from outer space.
It's true. So here's the lineup. You've got Meteorite. As far as we're aware at this point in time, Meteorite can fly. She has super strength and energy blasts. She's also the second in command, second to Citizen V, who we'll meet here in a minute. Techno wields this device he calls his Tech Pack. And you know it's high tech because pack is spelled with no K. It's just TECH-PAC.
That's
Tech Pack.
exactly. It's a tech pack.
Yeah.
That's how we know.
And it's this technological array that he can configure into any weapon or device that his genius can envision. So he's kind of like Cyborg, but with all of his robot parts on the outside.
More like Box. He's kind of like the original. Box.
Sure, like Box, yes.
Madison Jeffries.
Except he doesn't, control it with his mind.
Right.
It's just technology. Atlas is the team's tank. He grows in size and strength. Songbird, who I think is pretty well known at this in this day and age because she's been around for a long time and in a lot of things.
She was brand new here, though. This is like the first.
Here, I mean, but
yeah.
I think nowadays people know who Songbird is when I say. Songbird can manipulate sound, and then she can focus it through this device that's around her neck and her shoulders, and form that sound into solid objects, kind of Green Lantern style. So like wings, for example, or giant butt plugs that she uses to stop the dam from exploding.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah. She's Claw. She's Ulysses Claw.
Yes, and in
Same
fact,
powers.
that will come up.
Yeah, that
will come up.
Yeah.
Actually,
I didn't even think about it until we got to that part. And I was like, oh yeah, they do the same exact thing.
Yes,
That's
right.
So
so those are the Thunderbolts on the scene right now.
So the Thunderbolts surround the Hulk. Hulk takes a look and he goes, I don't want any part of that. He gives up. He's like, forget it, man.
Hands up. I don't want any trouble.
They've got him in like a weird sound cage. Another question about Songbird. Does she constantly have to scream like Banshee to make her power work? Like, is she standing there the whole time going, like, how does it?
Yes,
she talks
but
while
in my
things are
head,
happening.
like in my head canon, the device is focusing that sound, so you're not like hearing her scream.
Okay, because she's having conversations too. So I didn't know if she was standing there.
Right.
She's like, "We gotta go, Citizen V, we've got the Hulk!" Because that would be really awful to work with. I mean,
it would be. Yeah, I would be like, I
could not work in those.
I don't want to go on a mission.
No,
I can't imagine what going on a mission with the Banshees would be like. That's ridiculous.
So I'm going to skip over some of the hulky stuff that's going on right now. The important part is Meteorite's like, we did it. Call our leader. Get him on the phone. This is where we meet. Citizen V. Tell me about all his rad powers, Joe Patrick. What does he do?
Citizen V shows up. He has no powers, but he is a master strategist, swordsman, and fighter. And we come to learn pretty quickly, not in this issue, but very, very soon, that he is descended from a forgotten Golden Age character, a real Golden Age character called Citizen V.
And he's marching around saying it. I am the grandson of the original Citizen V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he says it here, but
No, yes. Not here. I believe in the first issue he says it.
First issue with Thunderbolts, yeah.
But from the second he shows up, heroes don't talk like this. They just don't.
Well, what do you mean?
I am here.
I mean, he's very,
Hulk. I admit, we Thunderbolts were quite sure what to expect when we decided to confront you.
All right, now
but
it's
it wasn't
1997.
anything quite like this. I am
It's
Citizen
1997
V.
and it's Kurt Busiek.
Clearly, you have something on your mind. Now, out with it.
It's very. Oh, I see what you mean. This missile that Mach 1 shoots from his wrist is comically large.
It's pretty big. Yeah, his missiles are good size.
That's either.
It's as big as his forearm, Joe.
No, that's either a mistake or very, very bad fortune.
No. Okay, like this is Deodato, and this is Deodato in the 90s when like
young Deodato.
I like this style. I don't think this book looks bad at all.
No. But I mean, it is. He has obviously learned in the intervening 25 plus years.
But I mean, we'll get into the Bagley issues where Mach 1 is still firing missiles that are as big or larger than his forearm. So I have to wonder where they are. Unless he has two. If he has two, fine. They're sitting there. Boom, bam.
Sure.
I'm out of missiles.
Bet you he doesn't have. I mean, sorry, Penny. He doesn't have like an infinite supply of missiles. Well, of course not.
I mean, they never address that. But regardless, that's not a big.
It's comics, man.
It is what it is. Citizen V confronts the Hulk. He is one cocky dude. He's like, "We've got you. Now what are you doing?" And the Hulk's like, "I'm just waiting for all you guys to show up." Power slap. And he does like his clap thing. Everybody falls down. Hulk jumps to a dam. Again, gets shot out of the air by a missile from Mach 1. And there's a panel where the Hulk is jumping and the missile is coming up and at him. And it looks like it's going to go right up his butt. But it doesn't. It hits him in the chest. It explodes. And the Hulk is bleeding. Like this was.
Yeah, he's hurt.
And it explains a lot now that you're saying like they were split. And that's why he was so messed up. Because I was like, I am curious, but I also don't want to dig into this. So thank you for that. They have a big fight at the dam. The dam, of course, breaks. This is where we see Songbird using her giant butt plugs.
More specifically, the Hulk destroys the dam.
Yeah.
On purpose to distract the Thunderbolts. So this is a Hulk with no human tether and no moral compass.
But he
has no qualms about putting the town in danger.
Yeah, he does say they're like, and this will come up shortly when we learn their secret, but Meteorite's like, "What are you doing? There's innocent people down there." And he's like, "Protect innocent people. Give me a break." Blah. Like, this looks a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So he busts the dam, knowing that this will be his getaway. He's concerned that he's, bleeding from this giant missile. And the Thunderbolts swoop down, save all the people. The Songbird does the giant butt plug thing and stops the dam from...
I'm sorry I put that out into the universe.
But now I can't unsee it. So there it is.
I understand. I get
it. And our boy Techno fires off a bunch of grappling hooks and swings around and stuff. We haven't quite figured out what we're going to do with Techno yet. And
I mean, Techno's like, "I'll fix the dam."
I guess.
And so you can take it on good faith that he fixes the dam.
But this is a great first appearance. It's classic 90s stuff. New heroes show up. We don't know anything about them. The Hulk is in a bad place trying to figure stuff out. They pit him against the Hulk to show like, look, these guys are very powerful. This is a great way to do it.
Yeah. And you know what? There are a couple of little things here and there where you get the sense that something's up with these characters. Like
the Hulk is saying stuff like, "How do I know you?" Like he recognized
your voice is familiar.
Meteorite. Yeah. He recognized her.
And Meteorite says to Citizen V, "What about the Hulk? You promised me ... And then he cuts her off and says, "There'll be time for that later."
Yeah.
So there's a history there that we are not yet privy to.
The plan is there from the very beginning, though. They knew exactly.
Oh yeah, no. This was 100% orchestrated from the jump by Kurt Busiek. Yes.
So let's jump forward to the Tales of the Marvel Universe.
Are we rating this?
Oh, yeah. This will buy it. It's a buy it.
It's great.
Great first appearance. It's Peter David's Hulk, so it's a ton of fun. You can't just pick up an issue of Peter David's Hulk and
you cannot.
What was going on?
Right.
You got to start at the beginning. There's a lot.
Yeah, no, you absolutely cannot, because that dude played the long game. And it's just like subplot on subplot on subplot.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was very Claremontian in that way.
From there, we jump to the Tales of the Marvel Universe one shot. This was sort of a sampler, if you will, of what is going on.
Yeah, Marvel sampler. It was like you went to Chili's and you're like, "Give me the Marvel sampler."
And you got
give me Tales of the Marvel Universe.
The Marvel platter, which has a little bit of everything on it, right? And
it's got some Kazar sliders.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on. But we're here to talk about the Thunderbolts portion. This was an anthology one shot. It painted a picture, like we said, of what was going on in the wake of the Onslaught event. right? The Avengers are gone. Fantastic Four is gone. Here's all the cool stuff that's happening. Kazar, he's hot with the kids. He's going to slip right in there where Captain America used to be.
So let me run down the greatest hits of this issue, because it gives you the status quo of the Marvel Universe and in the 616 and what's remaining. So, and basically it sets up either brand new series or brand new status quos, or as I wrote in the script, statuses quo, for the heroes that survived. It's also the second appearance of the Thunderbolts, as the citizens of New York learn of their existence and start reacting. So Mark Waid and Andy Kubert give us a prelude to their very, very excellent Kazar series.
Oh, it's so good.
Where Kazar and Shanna learn about the deaths of their friends. Nathaniel Richards, who is Reed's dad, deals with the vast storehouse of scientific wonders that are left behind at the FF's former headquarters.
Are they left behind, though, Joe?
Which at that time was 4 Freedoms Plaza. He teleports the entire contents of Reed's lab to a bubble in the negative zone just to stick it to the government, which I think is amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't let the government have that stuff. You kidding me?
I know. They can't be trusted. This, of course, leaves the building empty and ready for future tenants, which will come in handy.
We'll get there
pretty quickly here. The other Fantastic Four associates, Scott Lang, Elijah Laserfist, who's still kicking around in those days, they move out. And Christoph Bernard, who is Dr. Doom's adopted son, returns to Latveria, tries to anyway, to take his rightful place as Dr. Doom's successor. It does not work out.
It never has for Christoph.
I know.
Like,
poor kid.
Look, he's a crybaby, first and foremost.
I know he is a crybaby.
But like, where's Dr. Doom?
No one can decide how
would show up and demand stuff and be like, oh, yeah, okay, you're Dr. Doom. Christoph would show up and be like, now it's mine. Like, shut up, Christoph.
Well, he shows up in Latveria, and like
for this guy.
Very impressive Doombot seems to be running the show.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where that pays off later. But it doesn't matter. So elsewhere, a group of random New Yorkers, including the cab driver that had a run-in with the Invisible Girl way back in the original Fantastic Four #1, toast to the departed heroes, and they react to the debut of the Thunderbolts. The cabbie is not having it at first, but they see the team's selfless acts and the fact that the Thunderbolts actually stay behind to help like fix with the shit that went down during their battles, which is not really something that we see heroes do very often. And it changes everybody's minds. And they're like, yeah, Thunderbolts, they're pretty cool, right?
Sure. Well, that's the thing about the Thunderbolts, and they're being really smart about it, and it's going to carry on to their own issues. Everything they do is in the media. It's on TV.
Oh, yeah. It's also very calculated.
It's they know what they are doing. No question.
Right. Rhodey, Jim Rhodes, is wrapping up his final day as an employee of Stark Enterprises because it has been taken over by the Fujikawa Corporation.
Yeah, well, which the boss got murked into a different dimension.
Yeah, so. Which is a neat little bit of continuity because in the 2099 future, it's Stark Fujikawa.
Right.
And that's where they came up with that. I always thought that was kind of fun. Before he goes, he dons that fucking terrible alien armor that I totally forgot that he had for 2 minutes.
I had to stare at it for a while, and I was like, do I remember this?
I remember the cover. I remember distinctly the cover of that issue of War Machine being like, hot new armor, check it out. And it is like the worst thing you will lay your eyes on.
So bad. It's like, what if Rom Space Knight was a little more extreme?
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And it's like an alien, like nanotech symbiote bullshit
kind
nonsense.
Micronaut looking thing. Oh, it's bad.
The good news is that
the art's great. I love this
In order to purge all of Tony's designs from the Fujikawa servers, the alien armor is destroyed. And he sneaks out of there with a bit of Stark tech. And again, I don't remember where that pays off. Again, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. In fact, we don't even need to talk about this stuff. We can keep going.
I know, but I think it's fun. It's the context is fun. Like this is like you might, because you're going to be asking yourself through the course of these next 5 issues. Well, where was this character? And where was this character? And how did this all go down? And everybody's in a bad way.
Yeah.
And then finally, Doctor Strange is all worked up because about the forces of darkness, yada, yada, yada. All the heroes are gone. What are we going to do? He goes out to be
my
one with
monthly
the
artist
cosmos.
is buck wild insane.
I was thinking to myself, who was this? Was it? I thought it was Teddy Christensen, but it's not.
This is not the monthly artist of Doctor Strange at the time. This
It's
is
Pat Chow.
Yeah, this is just someone
who I've never heard of.
Drew this one shot thing, and I think he was trying to kind of be Mark Buckingham, but
it looks very much like the extreme abstract work of like Teddy Christensen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you look up Teddy Christensen,
crazy.
I mean, I like it, but it's bizarre.
I don't.
That's fine.
It's too much.
The bottom line is that Doctor Strange goes off to, meditate with the cosmos and commune with the spirit of the Ancient One, yada, yada, yada. And he discovers that the heroes are alive.
Of course.
But in order to keep it vague, because this initiative just started, he thinks it's a metaphor. Well, he's like, in spirit, they'll always be with us. But it's like, no, they're fucking alive. Sure. You dingbat. But I thought you were the Sorcerer Supreme.
I was hoping he was laughing at Thor's hair in this thing. Right? It's just like,
oh yeah, because when they show,
oh my god,
it's supposed to be like show us
a swirl of smoke that reveals them or whatever, and it's
like a ghostly silhouette of the heroes that died, and it's Thor in that awful
the face
also
mask.
Mike Deodato, as ironically, Mike Deodato Jr. designed Thor costume that he wore at the end of his first run,
and he took that mask right off Thor, and they stuck it right on your Thunderbolts Atlas. Basically, he's got the same mask on.
He sort of does.
Oof. Oh boy.
So that's what's going on in the Marvel U.
I mean, like, this is it's a sampler platter. I can't.
It's fine. It's a skim it.
Yeah,
you don't need to read it.
Whatever. There was a lot of bad ideas at the time.
Yeah, I will say that Kazar series is fucking great.
Absolutely. If there was one thing to look into in this, go pick up that Kazar series. It's incredible. Yeah. The rest of this, don't fucking worry about it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This brings us to Thunderbolts #1, Justice Like Lightning. One thing that stuck in my craw, and I thought for some reason I must have invented it in my headcanon, that they had something to do with Thunderbolt Ross, like some type of government sponsorship, but they do not. Nothing.
Well, I mean, except, I don't know if this is where you're getting it, but many, many years down the line, there was a volume of Thunderbolts that had the Red Hulk in it.
No, not that. Like, I thought from the beginning there was something where Thunderbolt Ross, and like I read the Hulk book and I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because he was like, yeah, those guys, they're my boys. They took down the Hulk. I like them. They get the Thunderbolt Ross stamp.
But Thunderbolt Ross is not in the Hulk at this time.
No, he's not. So yeah, I just completely invented it.
It was Peter Gyrick. Or Henry Gyrick. Yeah.
Don't look at me. This is from I'll bet I was thinking Gyrick was a Thunderbolt Ross in my head. This is Marvel, 1997. Written by Kurt Busiek, art by Mark Bagley, inks by Vince Russell, colorist by Joe Rosas, letterers Dave Lanfear and Oscar Gongora. It took 2 letterers for this comic book. Tom Brevoort was your editor-in-chief at the time.
Well, Kurt Busiek wrote it, so there's a lot of letters.
Yeah. That was one thing, reading through these. I love Kurt Busiek, healthy respect for Kurt Busiek. That dude got paid by the word. Oh my God. Busiek writes in a very,
I'll say dated. He writes in a very classic Silver Age bombastic Marvel style.
No question.
And so it's not brevity is not the watchword for these books.
No. And when we get to certain characters, it's like everybody kind of sounds the same. And when we get to certain characters, I want to throttle them. And we'll get there in a little bit. But in the wake of the Onslaught event, New York is left devastated. This starts 15 minutes after Onslaught. Stuff is still on fire. They are.
Well, I mean, it takes Metropolis forever to dig out from Doomsday. So, I mean, consider.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I mean, fair
so
enough.
Like the attack on New York by Onslaught was catastrophic.
I suppose, but everything is like still on fire in this first panel.
Sure, yeah. Burning buildings.
The Avengers Fantastic Four are gone. The city is super vulnerable right now. Everybody's worried. Like this poor runaway girl who's like, what am I going to do? I'm so scared. There's no heroes. And then a masked person grabs her and takes her away. Don't worry. we'll more on that in a little bit here. But they set this up really well, classic Marvel style. Reporter on TV, like, in the wake of the Onslaught event, the Avengers have vanished, and no one knows what to do. Who will defend us from baddies like Blaster?
The Lava Men.
Yeah, the Lava Men.
What will happen the next time the Lava Men attack?
Yeah, the Wizard, Titana, and Ulysses Claw.
The Frightful Four, yeah.
She's just basically Fox Newsing right now. Like, they're like,
yeah, it's like
immigrants and vampires and Frankensteins are coming to steal your daughter and your job. And you're like, no.
Blastar, the living bomb burst.
Right.
Okay.
And then they do a thing right here where they've literally put the leader of the Thunderbolts on the TV. They're like, real bad guys, like the masters of evil. What happens if they attack again? Foreshadowing.
So in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Thunderbolts are in this.
Yeah. Right there. I love, and I got to say, like, this is the Bagley that I love. This Mark Bagley art is excellent. Every panel is completely packed. It's super detailed.
Yeah. Vince Russell is not my favorite of Mark Bagley's inkers, but I think it looks pretty good.
It shows through, though. Like, the Bagley shows through. And this doesn't look like your typical 90s Rob Liefeld extreme X-Men kind of book. It is a very, not insular look. It's still very Marvel, but it feels classic.
It's exactly it's what you would have been enjoying on Amazing Spider-Man probably at the exact same time. I think he was still drawing Spider-Man when this. No, maybe.
I think he had just finished drawing Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the dude did draw two. No, I think he did draw Spider-Man and Thunderbolts at the same time. I remember that being a big deal.
Fair enough.
But Mark Bagley is the sort of artist that can, like, when in the 2000s, when Marvel was like, we're going to put out 150% more Ultimate Spider-Man than you're used to.
Yeah.
It's going to be 18 issues a year instead of 12. And Bagley was like, no problem.
Yeah. Just fired it out.
And he did it.
He was probably drawing with both hands. So
yeah, right.
The guy's a crazy man. In the wake of all this, the Rat Pack shows up. Who are the Rat Pack? You're like, come on, everybody knows the Rat Pack. The Rat Pack went on to be massively famous.
This is literally the only time I ever remember seeing the
Rat Pack are a very sophisticated group of thieves and scavengers, I guess. They show up after stuff explodes and they steal jewelry.
I think they're like thieves for hire.
Yeah.
You hire the Rat Pack if you need something retrieved.
Right. Absolutely. But here they show up in a floating car with very technological laser guns and have a discussion about whether or not they should go back for someone's gold teeth.
That's true.
I'm not sure how they make their money, but they're well financed. I'll say that.
We learn where the technology comes from eventually.
Right. Now, they are supposed to steal something else. Right. And in stealing this other stuff, they are allowed to take the furs, the jewelry, the rare coins. Their boss is like, yeah, take whatever you want. I just want this thing. We don't really know what they're after yet, though. But
we do, because it was a Rat Pack person that kidnapped the girl.
No, but there's something else. They were also taking kids, but there's something else they were sent to retrieve. And it was like some Avengers data card or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. That sounds right.
But they're also
supplying their boss with a steady stream of orphan children.
Yeah, 15-year-old girls, which he needs whatever. Citizen V shows up, talks way too much. The Thunderbolts are behind him on the first appearance of the V-Wing, which is the dumbest vehicle in the Marvel universe.
It looks just like Moon Knight's shit.
It is so dumb, though.
It looks like one of Captain Boomerang's flying.
Everyone on this team can fly, so we don't need it, except for, I guess, Citizen V.
Except for Atlas.
Yeah, and Atlas. But you just kind of stand on it. There's no handlebars. You just have to stand there. And so it can't turn real quick or anything. And it better not fly too fast.
It's like riding a flying skateboard.
Yeah.
You better be good at it.
It's terrible. The Thunderbolts show up. They, of course, take down the Rat Pack. The Rat Pack has escapes though, because they're so good, Joe, that they already dug tunnels all over broken ass New York so they can get out of there. And there's just nothing Thunderbolts can do.
I mean, I kind of like that. Like it's sort of like a Oliver Twist. Fagin had the
but they
kids.
lived in London, so that makes sense.
I know, but it's like it's like they've planned for these eventualities, and they know all the bolt holes and stuff. I thought that was cool.
I mean, whatever. I don't have a problem with it. It's fine. It is what it is. We're giving the Thunderbolts something to do, and we're showing them that they have a mission. And they're doing this, again, in a very public setting. So people are seeing this. There's a news reporter right there filming all this stuff. So it's, again, all on purpose. From here, they go back to their secret lair. An old pizza shop. Because part of the plan is we can't look too fancy. If we look too fancy, people aren't going to trust us. They're going to be like, well, where did these guys come from? What's going on here? Yeah, it's going to be hard to believe.
Yeah, they have to look like they've come from nothing.
They are a ragtag group of heroes, right? The press comes to them to talk to them. And during a press conference, this is where Citizen V claims that, like, we're not trying to replace the Avengers. We're committed to protecting the city, delivering the now iconic line, justice like lightning, right? And this is also when he says, which I am the grandson of Golden Age Citizen V. And I wish a reporter would have been just taking the mic back and said, I'm sorry, who?
Yeah, right. Now, before this press conference thing, we see a lot of simmering drama, like the start of a bit of a flirtation between Mach 1 and Songbird. We see Techno not being very satisfied about the shabby life and using his technology to make it more comfortable, which pisses off Meteorite.
Well, he makes an R2-D2 that makes drinks for him.
That brings him beer, yeah. And so they're really committed to the bit, because something I realize, I understand, like, logically it's to keep up the kayfabe for the readers. Sure. But they're referring to each other by their fake names. Right. Even when they're alone in the hideout.
This is like the Scooby-Doo villains that are by themselves, still speaking in the monster.
They're watching TV at home in the Frankenstein costume.
Right. You know.
Right.
Okay. Whatever. So after Citizen V talks to the reporters, of course, they are interrupted by a problem at the Statue of Liberty. Got to head over there.
I can't get over how terrible Meteorite's costume is. I can't believe somebody thought this was a good idea.
It's so bad. And not to mention, she's got like 9-inch heels and 9-inch shoulder spikes. It's so bad.
And also her costume has like a headset mic that goes down in front of her face for no reason whatsoever.
I mean, I guess so they can communicate. I don't know.
Nobody else has one, Matt.
Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. At the Statue of Liberty, the Thunderbolts meet the Wrecking Crew. So again, we're setting them up here. We're showing how powerful they are. The Wrecking Crew are total badasses. And the Wrecking Crew, they're like, Thor's off the board? Let's go fuck the Statue of Liberty up.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
I love the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, I love the Wrecking Crew as well. They're fantastic. We also meet Dallas Riordan, who is going to end up being the city's attaché to the
She works for the mayor. Yeah, and she ends up being the liaison to the
Because the Thunderbolts are like, look, no, we don't want to work with the government because people don't trust the government. We have to be the underdogs, right? So we're not going to be a government team. And they're like, all right, how about like you're just like friend of the city? And they're like, yeah, that works. Sounds good.
Well, sure. I mean, it's like they need the government to trust them, but they don't want to be seen as like, we don't need your help.
Right.
They were like, look, we're here to do good. It doesn't matter that we work out of a pizza parlor.
Sure.
And the city is like, well, here, we'll put this gal in charge of dealing with you. And then, we want to like help you help us because we need heroes.
Absolutely. No. And
it's a mutually beneficial situation.
Of course. So once again, the news is at the Statue of Liberty to see the fight with the Wrecking Crew and the Thunderbolts. The Statue of Liberty gets its arm ripped off. Like bad stuff happens.
Yeah, man. I think it's a pile driver. Bulldozer's the one with the thing on his face.
Yes.
Pile driver throws this chunk of ground at Meteorite, and it smashes past her and destroys the torch arm.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad news. But this is where we get to learn how badass Mach 1 is. He comes in and he's like, oh, yeah? Well, what if I shoot some pellets that have anesthesia into your mouths?
Into your gaping maws.
What are you going to do? And they're like, oh, man, the wrecking crew is down. And that's when Bulldozer's like, not me, man. I've got a stupid metal mask that covers my mouth.
Yeah, right.
So this is not going to work. Like, it's hard to eat and breathe in this thing, but man, did this just pay off. So then we get to see super badass Atlas shows up, gets really, really big, and punches him really hard. They win. Hooray. Everyone
knocks him, across the city.
Not only do they win, though, they weld the Statue of Liberty's arm back on.
Yeah. Now, in my mind, like if this were post 2008, post Iron Man, in this Mach 1 scene, we would have seen his heads up display.
Oh, sure.
With little reticles over the mouths of all the dudes.
Target their mouths.
Like the computer's doing all the work, right?
As they're about to say something, he's like, hey, wrecking crew.
In
and
1997, however, we're just like, oh shit, this guy is good.
Well, yeah, he just timed it right. They all had their mouths open.
But then Songbird puts bubbles over their faces so that they can't.
Yeah, so the anesthesia can't go anywhere, and they just have to suck it up. Nothing you can do, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just put bubbles over their faces so they can't breathe until they pass out, too. I mean, like, we could have started there.
Listen,
that could have been the very first thing you did. And then the Statue of Liberty would still have a fucking arm, Joe. All right? So, it's all over. That's it. The public loves them. They're selling Thunderbolts t-shirts. People are on the news singing about this. Spider-Man's hanging upside down talking to reporters because I guess he does that now. And he's like, man, the Thunderbolts, they seem rad. The stupid new Warriors are here and they're just
Excuse me. You don't need to do that.
We took a time out from capturing some crack dealers to talk to the news about how kick-ass the Thunderbolts are. And your boy Speedball's there and he's like, hey, how come we never get pressed this good? I think I know why. Anyway, Natasha Romanoff is not impressed. And I love that the news can just run up to Natasha Romanoff on the street. And they're like, hey, premier super spy, Black Widow, you're just walking around doing some grocery shopping. Can we put your face on the news and talk to you? Everybody knows who you are.
I mean, at that time, yeah, because she had very publicly led the Avengers.
Right.
Like, the whole super spy thing that kind of came back in vogue with the movies was not really
sure. No, at this time she was a full-on superhero.
She was a superhero.
No question. She's also kind of a bitch. She's not into it. Everybody else is having happy Thunderbolts Day. She's like,
yeah, she's just like, you know what? Whatever.
What the frig ever, right? She's got bigger stuff going on, and we'll find out. The Thunderbolts all go back to the pizza place. They're watching their press on TV. It is great. Citizen V comes in and whoa, without his mask, he is one ugly motherfucker.
His face is all messed up.
He's got the Jonah Hex skin lip thing going on.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, gross. So here's my thing. We're about to learn the big twist of the Thunderbolts, right? He goes and he's like, oh yeah, sorry about my ugly face. Let me put on a mask, but I'm going to put on a different mask, an older mask, the mask of Baron Zemo, because I am secretly Baron Zemo and you assholes, you're the Fixer, the Beetle, Screaming Mimi, Goliath, and Moonstone, better known as the Masters of Evil. At this point, the Masters of Evil had been a team for a long time. None of them had ever seen Zemo's face. Because they're shocked. They're all like, ugh, gross. Ugh, puke.
Well, probably not.
Okay.
I doubt he made a point of walking around the Masters of Evil headquarters with his mask
He's making a point of doing it right now.
I get it.
It's just
but
part of the pizza place.
You're overthinking it a little.
I am, regardless.
No, I don't. I think that some of them may have, some of them they have not. The only one that really reacts in a shocked way is Songbird. No. Meteorite is like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess.
Songbird is like shocked.
Yeah. So let's line it up. Citizen V, Baron Zemo. Meteorite, Moonstone. Songbird, Screaming Mimi. Who the fuck is that?
Screaming.
I don't know. No.
Screaming Mimi is from the 80s. She was the girlfriend of Angar the Screamer.
Oh, okay.
So they had like a theme going.
Sure, they both screamed at each other. I get it.
Yeah.
I was in one of those relationships.
She's not cool. Screaming Mimi is not nobody you need to know about.
No, and her outfit is terrible.
Becoming Songbird is the best thing to ever happen to this character.
Definitely. Atlas
and
is Goliath, who is actually
Goliath,
the second Goliath, Eric Jostin.
Eric Jostin, yeah.
Or Jostin.
So he was the original Power Man, actually. When he first appeared in the Avengers, his name was Power Man. Obviously, that changed when Luke Cage came on the scene.
Right.
And he became Goliath. And he's been around for 50, 60 years. He's a very recognizable kind of like C-list flunky villain.
Gotcha. Techno is the Fixer. Mach 1 is the Beetle.
I love the Beetle.
I love the Beetle as well. I have a question about the Fixer. The Fixer, I always thought was kind of like, I don't know, B-list, maybe C-list Fantastic Four villain, right? Like,
well, it doesn't do him any favors that his costume looks shockingly similar to the Wizard's.
True. Its costume is terrible. They like nobody thought about it. It's just like, it's purple and he's got a helmet. That's it.
Right.
Right. But it seems like Techno is way more powerful than anything I've ever seen the Fixer do up to this point.
Well, I'm going to say something that might be kind of controversial.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever actually read a comic book with the Fixer in it.
Okay, when I say this out loud, I had to go and look a little bit. I was like, okay, the Fixer. I'm aware of the Fixer, but I don't know. I'm
aware of him from things like the Marvel Handbook and flashbacks, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen the Fixer in action.
So I went and found
outside of this context
some old Fantastic Four stuff where like the Fixer was behind stuff or the Fixer did some stuff, but he was never like this level of power. Like this Fixer is brilliant. Wears a backpack that can literally do anything he wants it to do.
Sure. So, I mean, there has been some power scaling here. Screaming Mimi is a character that was obviously a hilarious, forgettable entry in a best forgotten era of the Masters of Universe.
Oh God.
Masters of Evil. But they've given her. They've made her more capable here.
Fair.
The Fixer, they gave him a personality and they gave him like an actual, formidable power set.
The Fixer was a blank canvas at this point.
Most of them were a blank canvas. The only ones that weren't really a blank canvas were Baron Zemo, the Beetle, and Moonstone. Yeah,
Moonstone had been around. She was running around with Cap and stuff. So
Moonstone was a Hulk villain, and that's why in Incredible Hulk 449, she's like, Baron Zemo, what about this Hulk? You promised me.
Moonstone had not yet started to. Was this the first we saw her like becoming a good guy? Because she goes on to like date Steve and stuff. She like becomes.
No, she doesn't. Moonstone, no.
Oh, who am I thinking of? Diamondback. I'm confusing her with Diamondback.
You're thinking of Diamondback. Yeah.
I'm confusing her with Diamondback.
Who would have been a great Thunderbolt, but she had already kind of done her face turn.
Okay, that was my question. I was thinking of Diamondback. I apologize.
Yeah, no.
The heroic debut of the Thunderbolts totally ruined. Kurt Busiek, you monster. What have you done? I can't believe this. Everybody hated it.
I need to explain to you.
They put the comic book down. They said, this is terrible. We don't want to read anymore. That was it. We never saw the Thunderbolts again. I'm kidding.
Yeah, the end.
Nothing like this had ever fucking happened in a Marvel comic, right? Like,
no. I mean, there have been twists, obviously. I want to put you in the mindset of a young comic book fan in 1997, which I was. I remember buying Thunderbolts #1 off the rack from Mayhem Collectibles in Ames, Iowa. Okay. I was at Iowa State at the time. I was very excited about it because I had read that Hulk issue. I had read the Tales of the Marvel Universe thing. And I was like, yeah, the Thunderbolts.
I remember people telling me that I needed to read it. And I was like, that shit's for nerds, man. I'm reading the X-Men and Batman. Leave me alone.
Sure. And the reveal, because in these days, this was proto-internet. Like we had internet, but not like we do now.
No.
And so we had Wizard, and that's really about it. The reveal in Thunderbolts #1 was so shocking that it like catapulted this book into the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge hit.
Yeah. And they protected the secret so well. Some of the stuff
Nobody knew.
Some of the stuff I was reading about, like the oral history of the Thunderbolts, again, we don't know how true it is, but like a lot of people in Marvel editorial didn't even know until they gave them the finished issue, and because they were like, let us know what you think. And they all just sat down and like, all right, no. Superhero stuff, whatever. Whoa, what?
Yeah. I mean, because if you know going in, like, I feel a little bad for talking about it so freely earlier in the episode, but I mean, everybody knows it.
Come on. Yeah. This is a pretty old spoiler.
I know. But in that era, going into it blind is the only way it works.
Yeah.
Because if knowing about the twist in advance, like, yeah, it's a fun superhero book, but the twist is what makes it.
Definitely. No, the twist and the idea behind it, and the whole thing that Busiek was going for was, instead of like a heel turn, he wanted to do a face turn for villains. It's not heroes tempted by evil or whatever. This time it's villains tempted by good.
But at this point, though, it's not even a face turn. It's a plot.
Well, sure.
It's a villainous plot.
It will eventually be a face turn.
Like nowadays, we know of Mach 1 and Songbird and Atlas as heroes. That's how we think of them.
But they're also already setting that stage. Like after the Statue of Liberty thing, like they go back to their hideout and they're like, that was kind of great, right? Like that felt kind of cool. Like people liked it.
Yeah. And then Stone's like, I don't like this.
Yeah. They're not real used to that yet. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of other big reveals of the 90s or introductions in the 90s that would top this. And I don't think I can. I think this is the best intro to a 1990s super team at probably the big two, period. This is a huge buy-in.
This sent shockwaves through the Marvel universe and through the fandom. Like it was a big
it was massive
at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was. This is a buy it though. I mean, we're
a huge buy it. Yeah.
We are on the tail end of everything we make fun of in the 90s and think about as sucking. Marvel is starting to right the ship.
Late 90s, things are starting to look up.
Yeah. And I think the Thunderbolts really was this ray of light that shone through the dark times that we had just lived through in the 90s.
Right.
And Marvel, they saw it. They were like, yes, this works. This also made Kurt Busiek. I didn't realize it. At the time, he hadn't written that much. He had done that Marvels thing.
That Marvels thing. Which was...
It was huge, but it was also like a standalone story that was not part of the Marvel universe.
At the time, he was writing, or very, very shortly after... I don't remember when it launched, but right around the same time as Thunderbolts, he debuted a series called Untold Tales of Spider-Man.
Right.
Which was a flashback series that dealt with Spider-Man's earlier days. It was drawn by Pat Olive, and it was only 99 cents. So it was kind of like this big thing. It was like, and it was on newsprint during a time where like the paper stock was changing. And so it was this thing like, hey, check it out, And that series is wonderful, and he was getting a lot of attention for that. So this is Kurt Busiek on the rise. Oh, but Astro City was also going.
I mean, I suppose, but Kurt Busiek was not the name he would become. He just isn't.
Well, no, he was becoming the name that he would become.
Thunderbolts 2, we finally get a headquarters. The Thunderbolts have to take down the Mad Thinker, because the Mad Thinker is like, oh man, Fantastic Four are gone? Kick ass. I'm going to go take all their stuff, because Four Freedoms Plaza is busted up. There's big holes in it and stuff. Onslaught broke it while he was breaking New York, essentially. So the Mad Thinker is like, coming in, going to take everything over. Thunderbolts, I don't think so. But first, they have to be really smart about it. Again, and part of the plan is we got to make sure all this stuff is on TV, right? We want all this to be filmed. And while they're getting this all together, Mach 1 and Songbird have a really awkward smooch where I would argue Mach 1 kind of forces himself on her, but
No, she's holding him too.
I'm not saying she's not, but then she's immediately like, no, get away from me, and shoots him with a mouth laser.
You know what? We find out what that's all about in Thunderbolts Annual #1, where we learn the cruel fate of Angar the Screamer.
Oh, okay.
She's all messed up because the last time she let somebody get close to her, bad things happened to that other person.
I mean,
like, it
look,
was a bad situation.
The heart wants what it wants, and I'm not judging anybody, but if you're going to date somebody named Angar the Screamer, you might have it coming. Just saying.
Yeah.
Citizen V, who is secretly Baron Zemo, is reflecting privately on his long game strategy about transferring the Masters of Evil into the trusted superhero teams. They can access global defenses in the absence of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, part of which is taking over the Baxter Building. It's brilliant, right?
For Freedom's Plaza. Yeah. There is no Baxter Building at this time.
No, there is no Baxter Building at this time. Pardon me. For Freedom's Plaza. So another attack. Zemo's really smart about it. Gets everybody on TV to watch what's going on.
Alicia Masters unveils the most hideous statue she has ever created.
So Alicia and
Franklin
are the only two members of the Fantastic Four family around. Franklin's effectively living with Alicia at this point. They unveil this terrible statue that looks like Plastic Man lost control or something. And it's like a hand holding a shield, a fist in the middle.
He's trying to regain his humanoid form. It's just like
yeah. It's terrible. And a bunch of androids attack. They are the Fixers androids. Obviously, they have no head. They can transform.
Just one android, the awesome android.
Well, the awesome android attacks, but he splits into 6.
Well, sure, because that's his whole deal.
Because that's what he can do.
Shape-changing is his whole deal.
Right. So there's a big fight in front of the statue, in front of the news, and that's what's important. We get some of the worst Franklin dialogue ever. I cannot stand the way that this Franklin is written. Kurt Busiek writes Franklin like he's been kicked in the head by a horse. It does not even, it's not like he sounds like a cute little kid. Like the words don't make sense. It's terrible.
Also, at this point, Franklin's not 4 anymore.
No.
He's got to be 6 or 7.
He's still being written like he's 2 and has a head injury.
He speaks like he doesn't know all the letters of the alphabet.
No, he speaks like he came up from deep underwater way too fast or something. I don't know. It's bad. They have a big fight. Citizen V cuts off one of the androids' heads. Well, pardon me, not the head. The Fixer reveals himself. And Citizen V, he's a super smart guy, and he realizes this isn't the Fixer. The Fixer can't transform his hands into robot parts and shoots lasers. This guy is a robot. So he cuts his head off on TV. Turns out he is a robot. The awesome android falls asleep.
Oh, you mean the Mad Thinker reveals himself.
Pardon, I keep saying the Fixer, the Mad Thinker. My bad. And again, everyone's like, that was awesome. Thunderbolts, you guys rule. Hey, I got an idea. Hey, Franklin, why don't we give these guys your parents' old house? And Franklin's like, I'm into it. And it's done. This is how real estate
works. What if Moonstone moves into your old bedroom? Is that cool?
Yeah. And it's done because this is how real estate worked in the 90s in New York. Everybody saw something on TV and went, that kicks ass. Let's give those guys a building. Boom. We got a headquarters. This is a buy it. This book is ridiculous. It's great. And they play on the ridiculousness of how stupid the situation is because like Baron Zemo is like, all we got to do is do this and they'll totally give us 4 Freedom's Plaza. And it works. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I mean, we make fun, but it's a little bit more complex than that. It's more like
not a whole lot more.
the mayor, like the city obviously owns the building.
It happens in one panel. Say, I've just had a brainstorm. This is 4 Freedom's Plaza, built to contain, defend, and the power of one of the most advanced headquarters in the world.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Equipment might be gone, but the structure's here. You guys want it?
I think that we'll clear it with Franklin's Guardians, who I don't know who those are. Who are Franklin's Guardians?
He clears
Alicia?
it with Franklin. He says, what do you think, Franklin? And Franklin says, I think it's okay with me. My mom and dad would have liked that. Then it's settled. I'll clear it.
Right. But it's not literally settled. Franklin gives them their blessing, gives them his blessing.
Yeah, it's adorable and kind of stupid, but it's a great issue. It's a buy it. This is great.
Yes, it's a buy it. But Moonstone again is noticing the team being a little too fond of the adoration.
Yeah, again, everybody's like, man, this kicks ass. So let me get this straight. If you're good, people just give you the friggin' Freedom's Plaza.
I mean, hey.
Not bad at all, you know? They're learning there's perks to being good guys. And Moonstone seems to be the only one that's worried about it. I think Citizen V is kind of like, these guys are so dumb, I'm not concerned.
Citizen V is oblivious, kind of. He's like, my plan going off the rails? Unthinkable.
Yeah, no, he's too smart for his own good. So
right.
In Thunderbolts 3, Joe, we meet the new Masters of Evil. And if you
real quick, I want to look at the cover of number 3, and this is the first time I've noticed this since the year of our Lord 1997. But look how big Atlas's right arm is.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the rest of his body.
No, it's massive. It looks like he has shape-changing abilities. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, he does, but
and if
not
you're gonna
the way you're talking about.
If you're going to pit everybody up against like the right thing, like Mach 1 should probably be fighting Flying Tiger because that's, you know, he is a tiger that flies. And Atlas should probably be going against Man Killer, who is their badass. And we'll get into Man Killer in a little bit. I love her. She's my new favorite villain. She's so great.
Man Killer.
Remember Hallie, the 13-year-old that got kidnapped, or 15-year-old that got kidnapped? She is escaping. She's getting away from her kidnappers. I have a question. Is this Castle Doom that she's escaping from? Because it does not say, it just says night somewhere. There's a castle.
It is Castle Doom. It is a castle that belonged to Dr. Doom.
It is not in Latveria.
No.
Because otherwise, we have to assume that she runs away and runs from Latveria to New York, which is a difficult run.
Which is not the case.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I was a little confused.
This actually was something that I noticed when I was rereading, and I had that exact same thought. I was like, wait a second. They go to the castle, but they don't. And then I had to read it very carefully. Yeah. But the castle is in upstate New York.
Okay, fair enough. So it's just like an embassy or something, whatever.
Something.
Okay. Mach 1, meanwhile, is busting burglars and dropping them off, but he also kind of just keeps everything the burglar stole because he's a bad guy. He's the Beetle.
Yeah, and the burglar calls him out for it.
The burglar's like...
And the cops are like, come on.
Yeah. Well, who are they going to believe? Mach 1, who is literally like a guy wearing a jet, or this dude who's obviously supposed to be someone that editorial knows, and it's a joke because he's even wearing a shirt that says the Hunter's Family Softball. So he's someone. I don't know. Regardless.
Oh, Bagley used to do that shit all the time. Yeah. He would put little shout outs to things on the t-shirts of extras, you know.
Back at 4 Freedom's Plaza, we've taken the big dumb 4 off the building, and now it's got a lightning bolt on it, and it looks awesome. They're rebuilding. It's great. From here, Atlas and Techno get the communication systems running, which also, I guess they gave one to everybody they call, because anytime they call someone, they're on a video device.
Which seems very inconvenient if you're trying to hide your identity.
I suppose. Yeah. A bad idea anyway. But
it's like every phone call being FaceTime, including the ones you get while you're on the toilet.
Yeah, I guess.
It's don't do that.
So Atlas is starting to cuddle up to Dallas Riordan, who works for the city. He invites her over for a visit, and she's like, that sounds great. But the alarms go off. Oh my God. It's the new Masters of Evil are attacking.
Before that, though, real quick, Mach 1 shows up with the loot, and he's super excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
You won't believe that. I got $7,000 in cash and jewelry and just for doing nothing. And Zemo and Meteorite are fucking pissed.
Well, they also have the wrong argument at this point. And the argument should have been that thing that we always talk about, hey, Mach 1, you are literally wearing probably $1 billion outfit and you stole $7,000.
Right, but
are you a moron?
That's a problem with a lot of these armored villains.
But no, you're right. They're idiot. No, we have to stay in character. You cannot do this dumb shit.
The Beetle built an Iron Man suit out of airplane scraps.
Right.
And then used it to rob banks instead of selling it to the government for $1 million.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, right.
So the new Masters of Evil are attacking, but don't worry. There's a superhero on the case. Marvel's most badass Black Widow is going to take down the new Masters of Evil all by herself.
This costume.
Oh, it's terrible. It's black and it's got like weird little red lines right under her boobs for some reason.
Because I think the spider is on her back, and then those are supposed to be the spider's legs, like coming around.
I guess it's just so.
But
terrible.
it's not good, and her wrist thingies are bright red. It's like, ugh.
Oh my god! So you've got the new Cyclone, Pierre Frison. He is very French.
He is muy French.
Muy French? What are you doing?
I know, that was 2 languages.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that was terrible. The Crimson Cowl, their leader. We'll learn a secret about her in a minute. Claw, Ulysses Claw is here. He's total badass. Flying Tiger, who is literally a tiger that flies.
He's a man with a tiger face who flies.
But we get Tiger ×2 because we've got Tiger Shark here too, who is a shark with tiger stripes and claws, basically. And
fuck it, he probably also flies.
yes, he probably also flies. And Mankiller. Mankiller.
Mankiller.
I was like, who the hell is Mankiller? Mankiller was a pro skier who turned to crime after losing a battle of the sexes to a very misogynist jerk live on TV. She was going to ski against this guy and he kicks her ass because she crashes. She gets crippled. And he's like,
and that's what happens when you let a woman compete.
Yeah, bitches
right?
shouldn't be skiing. Am I right? Woo! You know, and this group of unnamed feminists with a good amount of money saw this and they were not happy. So they all chipped in and they bought her a super powered exosuit, which basically looks like a tube top with shoulder straps. I guess. I don't know. But
I mean, yeah, you're sure.
These feminists were like, oh, we are done with this shit and we are done with men. You will be our champion. You are the man killer. And she's like, I am the man killer. Now I'm off to kill the mayor of Chicago because he was a jerk too. Yes. Man killer, baby. Love her. So the Thunderbolts show up on the stupid V-Wing. Oh my God, it's so bad. And they help Natasha fight off these new Masters of Evil. Citizen V is not having it because he used to run the Masters of Evil. And the whole time he's like, they're calling himself what? Who's leading this shit?
Yeah, yeah. His pride is really messing with him.
He is pissed. And when he finds out who's leading it, it is the Crimson Cowl. And the Crimson Cowl is so powerful, but that instead of even fighting the Thunderbolts, she makes a flash and they're all like, oh, I can't see. And they run away.
I mean, the Crimson Cowl is formidable, but she recognizes the situation.
I guess.
She
Yeah,
distracts
whatever.
the Thunderbolts and the Masters of Evil.
And the Thunderbolts are rubbing their eyes and they're like, Natasha, good thing we were here to help. And she was like, stay out of my way. I do not need your shit. I don't want your help. And they're like, what is your deal? And she's like, I'm going to go take down all the Avengers foes that are out there by myself. Blaster. I'm talking like Hulk level
His name
villains.
is Blastar.
Pardon
He's
me.
an alien.
Whatever.
Get it right.
Blastar, Kang, like
Yeah.
Immortus. Watch the fuck out.
Thanos.
When
look
I
out,
show
Thanos.
up and I shoot you with my little
my
widow
wasp
sting.
things. I'm wrong about the spider on the back, but they are supposed to invoke spider legs.
No, they're just
regardless. The costume is very bad.
They're just dumb lines. She's pissed. Stay out of my way. And they're like, all right, whatever. So they trash the Masters of Evil warehouse where they were storing a bunch of stuff and they sink it into the sea. We go back and
surely there must have been a solution
into the
other
bay.
than committing horrendous property damage.
well, not just that. You've also dropped a bunch
You
of
can't
like
just like,
radioactive shit into the bay and we fish
Right,
there
yeah.
and like food
but
comes out
like
of
you
there.
just, you can't, you destroyed a building that the city probably would gladly take.
Yeah. Well, don't worry about it, Joe, because we've got bigger fish to fry. And the new Masters run off to a monastery where they're going over their illegal arms deal. And there's a team versus team battle. But Techno saves the day by proving he can literally do whatever the hell he wants with his backpack by making it turn into a million guns that are all pointing at them at the same time.
Well, he takes over their weapons.
I mean, I guess.
There's a cache of super weapons that was part of what the Masters were involved in.
Right.
Oh, the Rat Pack is here as well. So that we see now that they're all these things are all kind of connected.
And this monastery, this castle, this is where our girl Hallie escaped from.
No.
Right?
This is
a separate monastery?
Well, the Castle Doom is not a monastery, first of all.
Well, I think it used to be a monastery and now it's...
No, this is not the same place. This is like, there's a place in New York called the Cloisters, which is...
I know, I'm aware.
I think this is probably like the Cloisters.
I mean, if you say so. There's way too many castles. 90s.
Well, sure. I mean, there are a number of castles that I assume to be in America at any given time, and that number is never more than 0.
Fair enough.
And now we've got 2. So
fair enough.
But the Rat Pack is here. Techno reaches out with his tech pack and latches on to all of these super weapons, and then he's able to target all of the villains at once.
And they're like, well, we give up. New Masters of Evil, we suck at this. And I don't think we learn it here, but the Crimson Cowl does her big flash and they disappear again. She is, in fact, Justine Hammer, daughter of Justin Hammer. We'll find that out later, though. So,
yeah,
she's bad news. Black Widow is also there. She's like, I'm taking care of business. I told you to stay out of my way. And I mean, like Black Widow taking down Rat Pack dudes. Yeah, I'll buy that. Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a matter of buying it or not. I think the Black Widow is dealing with trauma,
right?
Because all of her friends are dead.
She's hella suspicious of these guys too. And
I actually really love this page where
it's great.
She is standing on the top of a platform and she's looking down at the Thunderbolts after they've just saved the day.
She's the only one that doesn't trust them.
Icy stare.
Yeah. And she shouldn't trust them. And she's smart. Everybody else is like...
Yeah. And it's like, what does this look in her eye? Is it congratulation? Is it suspicion? Is it irritation? And then she just leaves.
Everybody else is wearing a t-shirt with a Thunderbolt on it and giving them buildings in New York. Like someone should be suspicious.
Of course.
So they're like, all right, whatever. She's kind of a bitch. Let's go back home. And like, oh, there's an intruder alert. And our friend Hallie has run from the castle barefoot, broken into the Baxter building, wearing a shirt and no pants.
Yeah, it's a little...
a shirt and no pants. Although Bagley kind of draws her like she might have ninja shoes on, which... I guess makes sense because she's flipping and she's jumping. It's just
a weird affectation.
And the Thunderbolts are like, what the frig? This girl's all over the place. And she's like, I want to talk to Fantastic Four. She came here because, as we're going to find out, one of their oldest villains was partially behind her kidnapping and there's stuff going on there. So if we think, we'll find out differently. But she's also shooting lasers out of her hands now. So things have changed.
Well, she doesn't shoot lasers, but she's supercharged with some sort of...
She's charging them up.
Electrical-esque force that supercharges her movements and her agility and then like enhances her punches and stuff.
Right. We're going to find out more about Hallie. She's basically super fast and super strong are her powers. Jolt.
Well, she's fast, agile, and she sort of iron fists this stuff into her fists and fights with it. I don't know that she's super strong, but...
Oh, no, she has superhuman strength, too, because her power is like... She's got like this super fast punch thing she does. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. She's not lifting cars or anything.
No. They'd say she was a buy it. It's big, it's dumb, it's super fun, but I really like the Black Widow stuff that's going on here because the Black Widow is smart.
The drama with the Black Widow is very cool, and it's a nice counterbalance to the earlier issues where the city of New York is falling all over itself,
right?
Because they're so desperate to have that void be filled. Yeah, that they're like, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for fixing the Statue of Liberty. Here's a building.
Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it.
I do too.
Great. This is a buy it.
Yes.
Thunderbolts 4, the introduction of our girl Jolt. She's right here on the cover. She's our first new Thunderbolt. She's got a lightning on her chest. She's got the biggest, dumbest knee pads and elbow pads I've ever seen. They're so bad.
Oh, and something around her ankles as well.
Something. Yeah. There's, again, we can't just
to help her with her jumping.
I mean, it's the 90s. We can't just have a costume. It's got to have shit all over it. That's just part of the rules. So
a very impractical goggles situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this is Hallie Takahama. She was a teenager orphaned by the Onslaught crisis and kidnapped by the Rat Pack, as you remember. She's given superpowers after they experimented on her, and this was part of their plan. Their employer had...
So to answer your question, 200 miles north of Manhattan.
Okay.
Through the Adirondack Mountains.
That's where
they find a castle that belonged to Dr. Doom.
Okay, this makes more sense.
Hallie had been.
Did she escape from Latveria and ran across the ocean?
Yeah, but she did make it 200 miles barefoot with no pants.
And no pants on. Yeah, it's impressive in and of itself.
Yeah.
After escaping captivity, she was, like we said, she was looking for the Fantastic Four, but she bumps into the Thunderbolts, and they're like, "Oh my God, you poor thing! Let's get you into a costume as fast as possible." Yeah, they give her goggles and a costume, and they kind of play it off as like, "Well, this will make her feel better." You know, right? But at the same time, you're like, we're going to go take care of these jerks that did this to you. We don't know who the employer is yet. We're all assuming it's Dr. Doom. This is happening in Castle Doom.
But we know that Dr. Doom is dead.
Well, do we, Joe? Christoph, found something else. We know that
Dr. Doom got sucked into the Onslaught universe.
No, I know.
Heroes Reborn universe.
But there's a Doom bot marching around telling everybody it's Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, Dr. Doom is behind this. They show up and they're like, Hallie, stay in the car. It's a very Robin moment. And like, she's brand new. She's got a stupid costume on. And they're like, we're going to go down there and see what's going on. And Hallie's like, F all that. I've got powers too. And when the Thunderbolts start getting into it, Hallie jumps right out, starts flipping around, being a badass. And they're like, all right, I guess you're...
Oh, she doesn't have the ankle things on.
Not yet.
So maybe that was something they decided against because it's stupid looking.
Quite possibly, yes. So Hallie is dealing with her trauma, right? She goes in and she starts busting everything up. And she's like, oh, no one does this to me. And they're like, Hallie, whoa, take it easy. And it turns out there's a bunch of monsters there but Joe, they're not monsters.
Obviously.
No, these are kids that were kidnapped and turned into monsters by the nefarious Dr. Doom. Oh my God. But we find out.
Classic Dr. Doom MO.
Totally.
Turn children into monsters.
And the Rat Pack, those skis balls are all for it. They don't give a shit. They're just getting paid.
Nah,
stealing gold teeth and furs
all about
and
them
shit.
Benjamins.
Right? It turns out Arnim Zola is the bad guy behind it all.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Makes way more sense. Yep.
But much like Four Freedoms Plaza, he saw some vacant real estate and he was like, sounds good.
Yeah. Like Doom's not using it. I mean, I'm going to move in. This is perfect,
sure.
Right?
I love his headless, half robot, half zombie army.
I don't think they're even zombies. They look sort of like...
Well, they're fleshy. They're not zombies.
They look like a muscle that they put into a suit with hands and feet.
It looks like a glob of Play-Doh with armor put on it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. But I think they're rad. They're cool.
They're cool as hell. Yeah. So while all this is going down and we're discovering this, Techno is broadcasting everything. Right?
Yeah, because you got to...
He's got like little Mr. Mr. Terrific T-spheres.
You have to protect the brand.
Right. He's got his T-spheres flying around like Mr. Terrific, and they're filming everything.
Right.
Right. So
they could be called T-spheres.
The public is watching this. The thing of it is, they're a little nervous because Jolt, she's kind of an unknown. She's not in on the secret. She's just some kid that they gave a costume to and said, sure, come along for the ride. But it works out perfectly because Jolt figures out these are not monsters. These are the kids that I grew up with, and I'm going to reason with them. And in true comic book logic, of course, that works because Jolt is a good guy. And the monsters are like, we don't want to be monsters. We didn't ask for this. And so they melt. And Arnim Zola's like, screw you guys.
They kill themselves rather than...
Well, they decide not to fight, and Arnim Zola mutates them all into one big blob, and that's when she talks them down. And this is all on TV.
Like, we can't live like this.
Yeah, this is all on TV. Techno's crying. No, there's not a dry eye. CNN is crying.
I actually
Wolf
have
Blitzer is crying.
I have a bit of a no prize explanation for the dialogue that you mentioned in issue 1.
Okay,
or maybe the Incredible Hulk issue. The way Zemo talks, and I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh, it's all clicking for me. It's like, oh, he knows he's on television.
Yes.
And so he's like, so Zola, it was you who sent the Rat Pack to kidnap.
Yeah.
And so all of this, like the way he talks,
It's media posturing.
he's posturing for the media.
Of course. But at the same time, good guys don't talk like that unless you're on Asgard, right? You know?
Yeah, but he's pantomiming. He's putting on a show.
So after Jolt talks the monsters into killing themselves and cries, and Wolf Blitzer is crying, and the audience is crying, everyone is crying. This is like we all lived through it. Arnim Zola reveals that, like, no, I didn't even have a plan. I was just keeping myself busy with some research.
Yeah.
Just doing my thing. You know how it is. And they're like, you're disgusting. But this is on TV in front of everybody. Jolt is super badass. And Techno's like, the ratings on this are great. And like, Jolt, baby, you're on the team. Way to go. Welcome to the Thunderbolts. And Zemo, this is really like the first time where he's like, this is not part of my plan.
He is outwitted, in fact, by Moonstone. Moonstone is the one who turns on her headset mic that's conveniently built into her weird ass mask.
Yeah.
And she's like, Citizen V, she is a media darling.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to make us respectable, the only way it's going to make us, the only thing to make us more respectable right in this moment is for you to make her a member of the team.
Of course. Now,
And if you don't make her a member of the team,
it's going to look bad.
they're going to want to know why. And that's not good.
And
you don't
one
want
day,
people asking questions.
Matt Baum and Joe Patrick are going to read this comic book and say, well, why the fuck did you give her a costume if you weren't going to put her on the team?
Yeah.
They could have literally just given her...
The media's going to want to know why you chose not to endanger this teenage girl.
Right. Like, when she showed up with no pants on, you could have given her shorts and a t-shirt and called it a day and said, stay here, we'll go check it out.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Jolt,
Hold on, we'll call CPS and someone will be right with you.
right. Jolt accepts. I'm flattered and I'm grateful for the offer. And if I can use my powers to make sure others don't have to go through what happened here today, well, I'll do my best. And as for a name, I guess you can call me Jolt. It just came to her in that moment. She loves it.
Yeah.
And Moonstone.
Mainly, I'm just thankful for the pants.
Moonstone.
I'd be happy to join the team. I'm thankful for the pants.
Moonstone's heart is starting to melt a little bit. Just a little bit. She's having a motherly moment. She's like, you know what? We saved that kid.
I don't agree with your read on this because the dialogue says that an idealistic heart has entered the scenario to counter Citizen V's leadership, and it creates possibilities, opportunities.
And she
if
could
someone
turn
was
those.
smart enough, she could turn those opportunities to her own advantage.
Ah, yes, I agree. But in
Meteorites, Moonstone's deal has never been like, you know what? Maybe there's something to this. Everything is a plan.
I totally agree
Everything.
until the next issue, Joe. First,
Even that is a plan.
I'm giving this a buy it. This is great.
Of course, it's
This
wonderful.
is wonderful. And Jolt sucks. Jolt is stupid. We never saw Jolt again, I don't think. Like,
I mean, she's
after-
with the. I mean,
she's with
she's
the
in the
Thunderbolts a
entire
lot.
run of Thunderbolts
Yeah.
until it ends.
But
But
Jolt's gone. We don't see Jolt anymore.
I haven't seen Jolt in
No.
years. I have no idea if she's alive or dead.
She took her pants off and ran away again.
Yeah.
Issue 5, The Growing Man shows
Real quick, I want to touch base. So looking at this cover, the trade dress of the Marvel Comics has changed. There's now a big banner that
Right.
says World's Greatest Comics. There's a corner box, an old style corner box
Oh, yeah.
with like a picture in it and a number. And then there's a blurb that says featuring your guide to the new Marvel to the Marvel Universe. This is either after or about halfway through the Heroes Reborn experiment.
We're halfway through. Yeah, because this is issue
Where-
5. We're 5 months in.
Well, yes, but Thunderbolts didn't come out until February of 2007.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So, but we're past. I think we're past the halfway point on the Heroes Reborn books because by issue 12, the Avengers are back.
Right.
And so this is where Marvel changed up the design of their books and they started to have that fold out like recap guide that listed all the characters and stuff and told you like the story so far. I loved that so much.
It was rad. It was super rad.
And so this is kind of a turning point as they're embracing the idea of classic comics as a thing and making sure that readers know what's going on. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. So they've seen a lot of action up to this point. It's time for a day off, man. We got to chill out. And in this story, Growing Pains, nothing could possibly go wrong on the Thunderbolts day off. It's going to be fine, right? We begin with, this is Baron von Strucker, right?
Well, we don't know that yet.
We don't know it. He's shaded, but it's obvious.
A shadowy figure.
It's Baron Strucker. There's no question, right? But a shadowy figure, he's pissed off. And all the villains are doing the same thing. Like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are around. Let's go fuck shit up. And everyone's like, yeah, right on. Let's get into it. The Thunderbolts
but Strucker is like, these Thunderbolts.
Yeah, this
is going to be a problem. He said, I thought our New York operations could proceed without my involvement, but difficulties have arisen, my friends.
We got to bump them off.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts.
We got to bump them off.
So he does think that they're a problem.
He's going to take care of them. Right.
Well, sure. He doesn't he's arrogant, obviously.
The Thunderbolts are taking a day off, though. They are not worried about it. Atlas is walking around, rocking a shirt that says Big Dog.
Thank you. I was hoping you would say something about Big Dog. I knew that you would.
Techno is going to use his subdermal whatever to transform back into his normal fixer self and go play cards in a basement with a bunch of bad guys. Moonstone is going to go party with Jolt. Moonstone is rocking a beige power suit and looking great. Let me tell you.
Yeah, she is all business. She's got shoulder pads for days.
And Jolt is in full Jubilee mode. Like she's big Jubilee energy here. She's little. She's got short hair. She's even got like the sweater that's like falling off of her shoulder and everything.
All she's missing is a raincoat.
Yeah, it's terrible stuff. But it seems
you know what? It's funny. She does have short hair. But in her previous appearance, she had a ponytail.
Yeah, she got a haircut.
I don't know if that's a mistake or if they just
she cut her hair, Joe.
Changed it off panel.
Women are allowed to cut their hair. Good Lord.
I know, but like, yes, I understand. But it's I just never noticed it before.
So people are starting to freak out about Joel, and they're all like, man, she's awesome. And Moonstone's like, hold it. Back off, everybody. She's just a kid. And this is where Moonstone, I think, starts to develop this motherly kind of like protection. Like, I need to take care of this girl. Like, she doesn't get it. Shit happened to me when I was young. I ended up Moonstone. I don't want that same shit to happen to her.
I think that you want to believe that, but I am here to tell you that that is not the case.
Oh, it's not. Okay, because I thought this was like part of what tricked Moonstone into becoming a good guy. Was like
Moonstone doesn't ever actually become a good guy.
Really? Okay, that's even more interesting then.
She sort of sticks around the Thunderbolts for a long time, but I mean, she ends up on the Dark Avengers, Matt. Like she becomes.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess
she works for Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers. Like she might not be operating as a full-fledged supervillain anymore, but everything about her is about forwarding her own agenda.
So it's really just like, well, let's wait till the end of the issue to have this discussion.
But so this thing where she jumps in front of the people to protect Jolt is more about like, hey, you're out of costume. Quick, go get changed.
Oh,
and we'll give these people a thrill.
Or also you don't want to,
because they were recognizing her on the street.
You can't let people know who you really are. Like you've got a secret life as well.
Secret identity.
Yeah. And she's new to this. She's an idiot. She's 15. You run around with a 15-year-old.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, Hulky Atlas is having a date with Waif Dallas Jordan, who looks like she's
very skinny,
maybe 70 pounds. But
alarmingly thin.
Their date gets interrupted by arguably one of the most powerful, dangerous, and well-known villains in the Marvel Universe, the Growing Man.
Yeah, the Growing Man.
Now, I'm a big wrestling nerd. I talk about it all the time. One of my favorite things are wrestlers that are, like one thing. Like he is a cowboy. He is a fireman.
Sure.
He is really mad. Whatever. The Growing Man.
Big Boss Man or the Mountie.
The Growing Man is his name. That's what he does. He grows.
It does what it says on the tin.
He's also an alien robot, and he was built by he's an android built by the Cosmosians, who are an extra dimensional race And they did this for Kang. Kang put in a work order, and he's like,
the growing man works for Kang.
Kang's like, I'm trying to conquer. I'm traveling time. You know what I could use? Somebody that can get really big. Hey, Cosmosian.
But the growing man was defeated and left behind, and that's how it ended up in Hydra's hands.
Okay. Well, I was just talking about the work order that they put in to make the growing man.
No, Kang, he called up a contractor.
Yeah, you need that.
A Cosmosian contractor. Yeah. And it's like, I'm shopping around for a robot.
You know what would be great? A robot that can grow.
And he solicited a bunch of bids from a bunch of different roboticists, and the Cosmosians got the deal.
It's like, but also, I want a sassy robot. I want a robot that like believes how fucking badass it is, and it's going to yell about it the entire time.
I want a robot that will call some puny creatures out for their puny creature shit.
Yeah. He's a badass. Away from me, puny creatures! Be gone! Nothing must delay me in my quest. Nothing must prevent me from finding the master. And I'm not sure who he's looking for at this point, but
he's looking for Kang.
Oh,
we find this out by the end of the
Oh, because he was left behind.
He's searching for Kang.
Gotcha.
Because he's a robot eager for instruction.
Right.
I need to talk to my master so that he can tell me what to do.
So it's not even the growing man's fault. None of this is even his fault.
He is a weapon. He is not a sentient being. No.
I just feel sorry for the growing man.
Right? Well, again, the growing man is not a real flesh and blood thing.
Well,
the growing man is the
growing man.
It's like feeling.
Can we agree that the growing man is a pawn in all of this, and it's not his fault?
Yes, technically.
Okay.
The growing man is a pawn in the same sense that a chess pawn is literally a pawn. He is an inanimate object.
Gotcha.
I mean, I know he's animated, but you know what I mean.
Citizen V, in the meantime, is trying to prepare by requesting access to the Avengers files on the growing man. He's just like, hey, now that we're cool at the city, can I just take a look at those Avengers files? I got to do some homework. And Dallas.
Well, look, this growing thing is happening. We need to.
Yeah, I need to know about him. Give me the Avengers files. All of them. Not just the one in the growing man. All of them.
Don't just go down to the G.
Yeah. No.
A to Z, please.
I need the whole damn thing. And Dallas is like, yeah, I kind of work for the mayor. We don't have the Avengers files. It's not really what we do.
You know, I actually sort of enjoy a little bit like the bureaucracy of it, where they talk about like the government coming for Reed's inventions. Right. And Dallas being like, well, we're not real sure who owns the Avengers files. Still, they're still like the probate.
Yeah,
the Marvel universe. It's the world outside your window, and some of this red tape it's outrageous, like superhero red tape. But I think it's fun.
It also should be though. The Avengers files?
Yeah.
No, I don't want Rudy Giuliani getting his hands on the Avengers files. No.
If this were the DC universe and the Thunderbolts moved into the Watchtower,
right?
Mr. Terrific would push a button on his belt, and they would have the stuff, and that would be that.
Yeah, the end. But
he would click a button, and then the Masters of Evil would have access to all of the secrets.
Tony doesn't think that far ahead, so
yeah.
What can you do? So Jolt and
but I also do love the idea that like the Avengers as an organization is such a nightmare that like you're never going to dig out from the shit left behind after they're
no. Good Lord.
It was just very funny.
Nothing was filed well. It's all in different places.
This is what happens when an alcoholic forms your team. Right.
The growing man is fighting the Thunderbolts. Meanwhile, our boy, the Fixer, is playing cards with some flunkies. And these are bad dudes. One of them is like, hey, Norbert, I thought you retired. What do you got going on? Like, you're throwing money around and stuff. Like, you seem pretty cool. And Norbert's like, yeah, whatever. I'm out of here. And as he's walking, he's literally just like dropping cash.
He drops some cash. Yeah. And this guy thinks, oh, I'm going to run after him and give him this cash and get in his good graces. And then maybe, since he's connected, he might throw some workout guys.
Sure. Away. This isn't just any guy, Joe. This is Billy Kozliowski.
Yeah, this is a
he's
good
Polish as
boy.
hell.
Yeah. But he thinks what he sees when he runs into the alley is Norbert's coat going around a corner, but he sees the shadow of Techno, not the shadow of Fixer. And he's like,
this is Bagley showing us like he sees the transformation essentially. And he's like, what?
Right. But this is like one of the themes, like Moonstone's playing everybody against Citizen V for her own ends, you know?
Right.
Atlas and Songbird and Mach 1 are feeling a little too good about this hero thing. The Fixer could not care less about the ruse. As long as he stays in the money and beer slinging robots, then he's happy. And so he's very cavalier. Like, he should have never taken his disguise off to begin with.
Well, sure. Yeah.
He should have gone to Atlantic City to an actual casino.
Right. Like, what is wrong with you moron? But anyway.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts are fighting the Growing Man. Here's how the Growing Man's power works. Punch him, he gets bigger.
He absorbs. Yeah. If this were the Marvel handbook, it would say he absorbs the kinetic energy of force directed against him.
Right.
And he grows in size commensurate to that force.
And he gets stronger too. So they're like, what are we going to do?
When we say he grows, we're talking like Giant Man.
Huge. Yeah. Absolutely huge. So they don't know what to do. And Techno is like, I got an idea. Keep punching him. They're like, well, punch him, he gets bigger. And he's like, that's exactly what I want. I need him to get just big enough that I can crawl up his butt and take him over with my robot stuff.
It is sort of it is a fun little meme-esque precursor to the Paul Rudd flying up Thanos's butthole, meme. But another theme here is that Atlas has a limit.
Yeah.
And if he grows too big, the molecules of his body lose cohesion and he dissipates. That's because he's fueled by ionic energy, which is the same stuff that Wonder Man is made out of.
Fair enough.
Until now, that's what he thought.
Right.
So growing too big is a problem.
It should also be noted that two giant men are basically having a WWE wrestling match in downtown New York. And there's lots of innocent people around. Like, this is dangerous.
Like, they just knocked the Growing Man into a building.
Yeah.
That was probably full of people.
But the plan was to get the Growing Man big enough that Techno could open the little door on his back and go inside
the hatch.
him. Which it seems like a design flaw, and we should talk to the Cosmosians about that. Like, come on, you guys. Techno gets in.
I mean, you have to be able to open the back of your robot and put fresh batteries in.
I guess. Techno gets in, makes him shrink. He goes back into the Tylenol that he came out of. And the Thunderbolts, once again, saved the day on TV. And no one's like, it seems like I was a little irresponsible to have a fight that big in downtown. They're all just happy about it, but whatever. Following the skirmish, the shadowy figure from before, Joe Patrick.
Citizen V is pissed because Dallas tried, but she couldn't get S.H.I.E.L.D. to approve releasing the records. But she's like, hey, at least you guys did it, right? And Citizen V is like, yes, haha. All's well that ends well, right? Haha. Anyway, got to go by.
Yeah.
But he is seething with anger.
Well, sure. That was the plan. I just got to get everything here, right? But the shadowy figure that we absolutely could not tell was Baron Wolfgang von Strucker is revealed to be Baron Wolfgang von Strucker.
Yeah. Yes, right.
The ruler of Hydra. Citizen V contacts the Baron directly in costume to talk smack. He calls out the attack and warns Strucker to back off or face serious consequences. This is Citizen V starting to show shit's falling apart. Plan's not working.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. By issue 12, the Thunderbolts, issue 10.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, the thing here, so Citizen V, Zemo fucks up. He calls dude and he's like, listen, man.
He calls a guy that he knows personally.
Right. And gets straight up evil in costume, not as Zemo. He's wearing Citizen V costume. And he's like, this is not a hero talking. I'm being threatened. And Von Strucker is like,
and Von Strucker's like, this guy sounds familiar.
yeah, like I work with a lot of white supremacists that threaten people. I think I know this white supremacist.
Yeah. And so we're seeing the cracks, and to Busiek's credit, the ruse was never going to be able to last. You were never going to be able to sustain it, especially once the heroes return.
Right. It's not supposed to. But before we get into all this, let's rate this and finish up here. This is
buy it.
Buy it. We have all buy it's so far.
Because Thunderbolts rules.
It's great. It's totally great. But now back to what you were saying. This isn't something that even Busiek is like, look, they can't do this forever. That's not the point.
Right. That's like the point. The point of the idea, right? The idea is villains posing as heroes, but part of that, baked into that, is some of them think it's a good deal and they want to keep doing it, like Atlas and Mach 1.
Well, that's the thing that Zemo.
And the other part of the deal, another part of the deal, is that obviously there is an end game, because this cannot be sustained.
Right. And I think Zemo is, again, too smart for his own good, too egotistical, only focused on his plan.
Zemo's problem is his arrogance.
Right. And if something were to go wrong with these other people, look who he surrounded himself with. The Fixer, the Beetle,
Moonstone.
Yeah, screaming fucking Mimi. These are people he can definitely take down that he does not need to worry about.
This is issue 5. Within 4 issues time, I think it's issue 10 actually. So in 5 issues from now, something occurs where there is a full-on schism in the team, and he realizes he's lost them.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, Atlas, Mach 1, and Songbird, and then of course Jolt, they've embraced the hero life. It's over.
Yeah.
And so he outs them.
Oh, he doxes them right
there? Zemo doxes his own team.
Oh, man.
He's like, what's up, fuckers? We're the masters of evil. And he blows up their shit.
He has to force their hand. I get it.
And so, like, that's issue 10. And then issue 12, the Avengers have been reformed. And that's when you get the first big Avengers Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Donnybrook.
Nice.
Which leads to Hawkeye joining the team. This book keeps getting better and better and better, because the ruse is just the hook.
Right.
But now that you're on the hook, well,
it's what happens next becomes the story.
Get ready. Right.
And it's great.
The ruse was your ticket to the ride. And issue 10 is you've reached the top of the roller coaster.
Right.
And now you're about to drop.
So after Busiek and Bagley's Thunderbolts, they go on to become a lot of different teams. Like, they effectively go on to become Marvel's Suicide Squad, basically. It's always a theme.
Well, it's many, many, many years down the line, because this run lasts 200 issues.
Right. 100. Well, yeah, it's like 190 issues or something.
197
like
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and like, so after Busiek and Bagley, Fabian Nicieza writes it
for a long time.
Up until the point where it becomes that weird wrestling book.
Yeah.
Which we were there for when that happened.
Thunderbolts keeps morphing and changing, but the message is always some type of redemption, whether it is bad guys trying to be good guys, or a good guy that did something bad and has to redeem himself.
Yes. And then very famously, once Dark Reign kicks in, or after Secret Invasion and Norman is in charge of national security, he takes charge of the Thunderbolts, and the Thunderbolts basically become the Suicide Squad, which is where you see like Bullseye and Ghost and Venom running around doing good, quote unquote, good guy missions.
That stuff was great too. God, that was great stuff.
Yeah. Warren Ellis wrote it. I think our boy Mike Deodato.
I believe it was Mike Deodato drawing it at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like eventually, we get the Dark Avengers, where it's Moonstone is back pretending to be a new Ms. Marvel.
Right.
Bullseye is dressed as Hawkeye, Daken is dressed as Wolverine, et cetera, et cetera.
Iron Patriot and all that stuff.
Yep.
There's been so many different Thunderbolts, and I have read a lot of it. Not of this original stuff, like I admit, but I mean, every time they started again, I was like, I'll give it a try and see who's on.
Yeah. But it all has that component of villains doing good.
Right. Some type of
whether
redemption.
they're doing good for altruistic reasons or not is, part of the question. But
the original
like, are they
Thunderbolts-
doing good things because they want to be good, or are they doing good things because they're being forced to be good, or because they have bombs in their heads?
Sure.
That kind of stuff.
But the original Thunderbolts, it's brilliant. This Busiek's idea, the OG Thunderbolts are far and away the best Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts we have right now in the MCU, nothing to do with this whatsoever. Maybe spiritually, but that's it.
I mean, former villains as heroes.
I guess.
Is about where that ends.
Yeah. It just doesn't hold a candle to this. And I don't know. Part of me wishes we could see something this big, slam bang and dumb in the Marvel U.
I kind of do
so much
too.
fun.
Like the problem is a distinct lack of costumed supervillains in the MCU to match the amount of heroes.
Right.
And so there is no, like, can you pick 5 Marvel movie villains that would work? I can't.
No.
I don't think.
No. They're not. That's why you have to draw from the heroes. It just seems, and I know Thunderbolts is good, and I know it's really well reviewed. There's just something, you read this, and then I look at the Thunderbolts movie, and there's just something kind of
translation
about it.
Yeah, the translation to cinema loses a bit of the magic.
Right.
But the original Thunderbolts is an incredible series.
Yeah. I have to read it now.
I love revisiting it.
I've got to read it.
Yeah, and I have kept on reading since finishing for this episode. And I'm just a couple issues past this point where like Mach 1 and Songbird are really like getting hot and heavy, and so are Dallas and Alice. And I'm very, very near the point where Zemo is like, fuck this shit. And I'm very excited to get to it.
So we asked you nerds, who were your Thunderbolts? And we had a very scientific poll that ran for 3 days.
All of our polls are very
choices were the MCU Thunderbolts, the Busiek Thunderbolts, put them in the movie, you cowards, the Thunderbolts team with Venom and Red Hulk, or
nobody likes that,
one of the other 30 Thunderbolts teams, and you had to go in the thread and answer. 30% of the respondents said the MCU Thunderbolts. Another 30, well, close to 29%, one of the other 30 Thunderbolts teams, but clear winner here, 43%. The Busiek Thunderbolts, put them in the movie, you cowards.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for reasons that should be obvious. The Thunderbolts, great idea. It's just kind of sad what we ended up getting with the Thunderbolts today.
It's just, there is no equivalent in the MCU.
No.
It just doesn't exist.
But it's fun to look back at an era of Marvel Comics that's very easy to laugh at and realize there was some absolutely great stuff. The Thunderbolts being one of the best things that came out of the 90s. No question.
And it happened at DC as well. Like late 90s, after the comic market collapsed, the ship started to right itself, and people were like, oh, maybe we need to make these books good. And you started to see stuff like Thunderbolts and Starman and scare tactics.
Right. We can't just draw
DC.
boobs, butts, and bullet pouches.
That was a joke. Scare tactics is terrible. But the books really started to turn around, and late 90s, good stuff. Lots of good stuff.
Excelsior!
That is it for THN 777. Next week, the new comic show returns with reviews of 8 new comics, but you can check out our written reviews for this week's books now at twoheadednerd.com. If you want to talk about your favorite Thunderbolts lineup, the Thunderbolts movie, or any comic nerd junk, join our Discord. We've got a link up at twoheadednerd.com. And then you can join us for the THN Gang Hang most Saturdays at 11 o'clock Central Time.
THN is a listener-supported podcast. It would not be possible without the generosity of donors like our patron and official THN historian, Jason Sachs. This friggin' guy, not only do we not pay him, he pays us to work for us. And he comes and he checks all of our mistakes, and he sends us a memo with everything we got wrong every week. I love it.
It's true. I expect a comprehensive document about the Crimson Cowl.
If you like what you hear every week and want to access exclusive THN content, please support the show. Go to patreon.com, twoheadednerd, become a patron.
Before we go, our weekly shout out goes to our pal Logan Drydale, who is probably having a worse summer than you are.
I don't know.
Probably.
Man. I don't know, man.
Well, probably. Without going into too much detail, Logan had a huge health scare last week. He's still waiting for answers. We're pulling for you, Logan. We are aiming the Ziggurat's purple ray in your direction and hoping for the very best. As always, we are in your corner, and we appreciate your ongoing support. As for the rest of you jerks, knock it off with this nonsense. Stay healthy. Eat a vegetable. We need you. Logan's problem is not that he didn't eat enough vegetables. I just want to make that clear.
Gotcha. Until next time, true believers, remember to pre-order your comics, or your retailer might put you in the basement, do a bunch of experiments on you, and you better hope you can get out of there with some pants on. This is the Two-Headed Nerd, signing off.
Jokes on Arnim Zola. I didn't have pants on to begin with.
Oh.